Good morning, good evening. I hope everyone is fine from where you are watching this. I would like to talk a little bit about conducting research in Kenya. I'm talking about this from the point that at Study Research and Analytics, we offer these services and we understand some people come to us without understanding of what is required. So if you intend to do research in Kenya, you need to be aware of some few requirements. Sometimes there could be quite a lot, depending on the type of research. If it's secondary type of research, you will need to, let's say, collect data from the respective institution or organization that already is involved in collecting that kind of data. If I take a quick example, is Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. It collects data on social and economic factors in the country. So it can be a quick point to get data and analyze for a specific topic. And be aware that probably there could be some cost implications depending on the type of data you're trying to collect. So that level we need to liaise with the respective management teams in those institutions. Now, the main focus of this video is on primary study or research, whether as a student, an organization, or a company that is doing commercial research. So as a student, we have different categories. As an undergraduate, as a master's, PhD, and postdoctoral categories. And also within them, we have different demographics. For instance, if you are a Kenyan from East African community, from the rest of Africa, and non-African. Non-African is, let's say you come from another continent. The cost implications and requirements will vary. So let's start with East African community and stroke or Kenyan. Kenya is, of course, part of East African community. So I'm saying end stroke or because cost implications are the same. If you are undergraduate, you'll be required to pay, that is 100 Kenya shillings, if you are coming from the East African community. If you are, or Kenyan, you will also, if you're doing your masters, you'll be required to pay 1,000 Kenya shillings. And if you are a PhD, you'll be required to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings. While if you are a postdoctoral, you'll be required to pay 5,000 Kenya shillings. So that is for studies, or rather for academic studies. And this amount or this money is paid to the National Commission of Science, Technology and Innovation. We abbreviate it as NACOSTI. They are responsible for giving you permission to do your research at all levels, whether it's academic, commercial, or any other kind of research that would involve collecting data collecting primary data. Now let's look at being an African. Being an African, the cost implications vary a little bit. If you are coming from the rest of Africa and then you are an undergrad student, you'll be required to pay 200 Kenya shillings. If you're doing a master's, you'll be required to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings. PhD will be 4,000, and the postdoctoral will be 10,000. Now, if you are from outside Africa, from other continents, undergraduate will be required, it's quite a higher amount if you're calculating it from the Kenyan context. If you are an undergrad student, you'll be required to pay $150. If it's masters, you'll be required to pay $350. And if you are PhDs, $400, and postdoctoral will be $500 US. Let me expound a little bit on being a non-Kenyan. You come, let's say, from other East African countries, community countries, the rest of Africa, or outside Africa. If you are a non-Kenyan, you need an affiliation to a local institution. Let's say one university in Kenya. You have Nairobi University, Kenyatta University, and others, Jomo Kenyatta, Strathmore, KCA. You can research on all those institutions, because that is important to provide letter of introduction, introduction letter that will be used to give you permission. You will also need a research proposal. To submit your research proposal, they will also ask you for your photograph, passport size photograph, and all those, and many more requirements. You can check more information on the NACOST website, National Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation. They'll give you all the requirements. Now, if you are trying to conduct, they're called clinical trials, you'll need approval from a Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Those are the kind of laboratory experiments. You will need, of course, ethical approval. That's very important. And by ethical approval, for those who may not understand, if you're collecting primary data in the field from respondents, they need to consent. They need to give full consent of participating in the study. Participation should be voluntary, should not coerce or force anyone to participate in your research. Confidentiality, privacy, all those factors should be guaranteed. If by any chance your research is collecting the respondent's identity, then you need to anonymize them. For instance, you can assign IDs. Let's say if you collected from Mary or Victor or James, you will need to anonymize them to, let's say, give them identities 1, 2, 3. Their identities of respondents should never be revealed, even if they tell you reveal my identity, unfortunately. Some institutions or organizations, you might collect data from organizations. You will also need to anonymize their identity. Let's say you collected information from organization X. You don't say that according to organization X, you have to, if it's more information about the requirements, what you need to be approved to conduct research in Kenya from National Commission of Science, Technology and Innovation. You can check their website. And also, just to mention, very important, once you've been given permit, that permit only lasts for 1 year, 12 months from the date when it was approved. So if your research goes beyond that, you will need to renew using the same amount of money. You cannot proceed with an expired permit stroke license. Your study should also, your permit only covers a specific scope. If you've been given a permit, let's say it covers Nairobi City County, you will not go with the same permit to Kiambu or Murang'a County to conduct a similar study. Even if it's the same topic, you stick to the geographical location which you've been given or assigned or permitted to do your research. And that means when you're within a specific scope, topic, or geographical location, you need to liaise with the local authority or the county administration. Talking of the area chief, they need to be aware, because sometimes conducting research can be a difficult thing. Let's say you meet violent people, then you need protection, and by that you'll only be able to do that if the local authority is informed that you're actually collecting data. And when you reach out to them, they will ask you to also give them the letter of introduction from your institution and the permission from NACOST. You will need to provide that. Don't say they are local people, so they don't understand. When they ask you, please comply. So those are important factors that you need to consider when conducting academic research on the ground or in the field. We also have what you call commercial research. Commercial research, this is, let's say, market surveys, stroke market research. So market research, the amount is higher, and it's not distributed according to Kenyan and Kenyan or non-African. It's basically the same amount. You'll be asked to pay 20,000 Kenya shillings to conduct a market survey. So for this market survey at Study Research and Analytics, we are also, of course, helping you with that.